Welcome to Microsoft Community Insights podcast, where we share insights from and stories from community experts to update Microsoft. Today, we will dive into AI and Azure, your ERP solution. Uh, I, with guest Chris Carter, could you please introduce yourself?
You got it, Nicholas. Hi, I'm Chris Carter. I am a longtime uh, Azure user, AI user in the SAP ecosystem. I was fortunate enough to build one of the first SAP clouds, and I'm excited to be able to be here again.
Okay, so before we dive into the theme, you say your first user of SAP. Does it mean that you were there when it was created?
No, 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 no. From an SAP cloud perspective, so back in the
Okay.
1990s, we were trying to move SAP environments into away from just bare metal and into virtualized environments or clouded environments.
Yeah.
So what we did is we worked with VMware, and then we started working with Azure to be able to take what was standard on a bare metal environment and to be able to move that to Azure so it would run properly. And now what it's done is because by our teams doing that, now everything from SAP, when you purchase an SAP environment, it automatically has to go to the cloud. There's no more bare metal allowed. So you're using
Okay.
most of the time Azure as part of your ERP solution.
Okay. So there's no on-prem anymore. Everything is goes to
Correct.
cloud.
Yes,
Your chosen provider, whether it's AWS or Azure or Google. So
correct.
okay. So before we start, what does it mean by an ERP system?
Sure. So an ERP solution is an enterprise resource planning solution. So you've got SAP and Oracle. Those are the
Yeah.
two big behemoths in the ecosystem. And then you've got smaller ones. And what
Yeah.
that really means is you have your HR data, your finance, your shipping and logistics, your warehouse management. You have all of those modules in one nice, neat, complete organization. And so, what that really does for individuals is it allows you to have one record of truth. So, your data is one database, and that database takes care of all the data for all the modules. Instead of having, in an example, you would have, let's say, a Workday and a QuickBooks, and then maybe Sage, and then maybe something else. And you have all these disparate systems.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You want one record of truth, one system, one database, and one go forward strategy.
Okay. So it's like one central point of all
Yes,
database instead of like multiple where it
exactly.
was before. Okay. I take it now it's make it easier to access what you need, your data, by having
Oh
this one
gosh,
centralized system than where it was before. So was there
absolutely.
any challenges before previously on-prem to now you saw?
Um, and on-prem, not necessarily. You would still have the abilities to have your prod dev, QA, third-party systems, all part of your landscape. But now, because it's all inside of Azure or in another cloud, it is relatively easy to be able to get into it with one um, portal, we like to call it.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily too much different. It's just now that it's in the Azure cloud.
Okay. Do you see any like significant changes when working with ERP since with Azure where there is Foundry and like integration at the moment, or do you?
Yeah, so the integrations work really nicely. We've really all been able to use the integrations from an ERP standpoint. Also, from a build standpoint, there's build templates now, so we can build a greenfield pretty quickly. We can run everything inside a system, and we can go a little bit lower or we can go a little bit higher on what's going to be your consumption activity. And the really nice thing I like about it as well is we can realize what the consumption of that cloud is going to be before we even install it. And that is a wonderful thing as well.
So it track you how you much your usage. Like for example, in Azure term, it track your costs as well.
Yes. So we're able to track costs. We are able to know all that consumption, be able to understand what your cost structure is going to be pre implementation. And we get really, really close because we've done this for a while.
Okay. Do you see any like specific like use case that you use like demand when you work with ERP, like specific use cases?
Well, we've got a number of different use cases depending upon what industry you're in. If you're in oil and gas, maybe you're in
Yeah.
finance, maybe you're in a different organization. So we've got those activities that we know the use case. So let's say, for example, you are an oil and gas company, and I'm just going to use this compared to a
Yeah.
retail firm or whatever. We've got with predefined templates. We know what your upstream is going to be, and et cetera. So we can register that as part of your Azure build philosophy. We can also take copies of that Azure build and we can put that in multiple regions and multiple countries to make sure that you have the same exact template. That was hard back in the days when you had bare metal because sometimes you
Yeah.
would get shipped different systems and different code, different VMs, etc. Where now they're all consistent across the board. And that's a wonderful thing for everybody. So that use case really helps keep consistency across the board.
So that sounds like in Azure terms, like an HA, like
Yes,
replications.
yes,
Okay.
yes. You can have that as your HA activity, or there are regions in the world where you have to have your own standalone system, some
Yeah.
places in Europe. Um, Back in the day, we used to be able to set up systems in Russia. You can't do that anymore. So if you've got anything that you're working on in Russia, you have to have your own standard template. You can put it in Sweden or Norway. They can still host, and the data comes into there, and then you just batch it over in real time over to your system of record, if it's in the United States or somewhere else.
Okay. Do you often like currently since do you normally see an integration with like Microsoft Foundry with any ERP system?
Yes, you see that quite a bit, especially with developers and activities that are going on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
You got the AI side, you got the developer side, you got so they're all integrated, which is great. And then you can utilize whichever one you want to. I'm working with a company right now to set up Sentinel, as a matter of fact.
Okay. That's security. Okay.
That's
So it's
security.
an ERP.
Yep,
Yeah.
got to have the security.
So Senator will be part of the ERP system
Yes,
or
it'll be part of their landscape because Sentinel is part of the security activities that are there for Azure, especially with the
yeah.
GCC High organization and activities wrapped around it.
Okay. So what do you I'm not sure if I asked this, but what do you do, Chris? What's your day to day like?
Oh, my day
Mm.
to day. Well, it's a couple of actually many things. So, as the founder and the gentleman that runs the company on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
I do a lot of speaking engagements like this,
Yeah.
podcasts, and I speak with news outlets and such. I talk with customers about their needs and what's going on in the world today. I keep customers and prospects up to date. I'm traveling a lot for new activity because we're in the largest upgrade cycle in SAP's history right now. And as part of that, what we need to do is we need to educate people. And so I'm constantly trying to help educate. And as somebody who's been in the Microsoft world for 40 years, I'm constantly trying to help educate them on the benefits of AI, the benefits of SAP, the benefits of putting those together and how you utilize them on a day-to-day basis. And then, as a matter of fact, in another week, the Microsoft community, we've got an event in New York that I'll be going to. So lots of things out there to do on a day-to-day. And then I'm still a coder. As a matter of fact, I'm using
Okay, nice.
Google and anti-gravity and the Google AI Studio for a massive coding project that I'm working on behind the scenes.
Okay. Related to AI or
Yes,
an
yes.
SAP?
It's
An
all AI
ERP?
and security wrapped around. I believe, and it's my philosophy, that humans are the number one security risk for AI. When you've got individuals uploading 22 tabbed Excel documents with your 401k data, or you're putting credit card data, or you're putting these details into your AI, that's a problem. And now, from a business to business standpoint, when you start putting your SAP data and you put those into other AI based solutions and you're not regulated, that, in my opinion, the enterprise has a real problem with humans being the ones that are putting that data into the systems, because it's really not an automated process. It's it's humans putting it in first. Then you've got your AI infinity loop, humans putting in the data, in the AI solution, understanding and trying to figure out what you need, what you want, why you want it, and how to process that. And then the human at the end sees it again. And that's where the problem comes in, is humans put in the data that they want to see and understand in a manner that's different than what they're currently used to. But it also is conflict. That's a
Yeah,
security breach right there.
it,
HIPAA,
it,
ITAR.
you can still say the same, like we don't want to trust AI 100%, so there will still be a human in the loop and do
Yes, there's
anything.
right now, there's always going to be a human until you get to the agentic AI that is an autonomous AI. And then you're just running it through your own individual system. So if
Yeah,
you've got
but
your own,
it's like saying that would you trust to do autonomous agent in production?
yeah,
I wouldn't unless you do a lot of checks already, because
yes,
it's like confidential data. So there will still be an element of human.
yes, limited humans.
So what's new in ERP in Azure? Is there any like integration, any updates?
Oh gosh, yes. They're continuously coming out with net new pieces of the puzzle, especially from an ERP standpoint. When you've got new AI capabilities, Copilot being integrated, all the tools being integrated. SAP's got their own AI called Joule, so that's
Okay.
integrated because it works on the backbone of Copilot from Microsoft. And so you've got all these new pieces of the puzzle, and you've got to figure out how they all work together and get them all together. And so it there's a lot of education on the plates.
I'm sure they're going to be like MCP. I'm not sure if they would is already so for
Yes,
ERP.
already is.
There is. Okay. So do you normally make use of those AI tools when you like put data in like in your system, or do you just try to do it manually first?
It's all manually right now.
Are you so okay? So you don't use the AI at the moment. You just manually
Well,
put
I
data.
we regulate how much of the AI you can use to put into the data, because you've got to
Okay.
manually do that as well.
Okay. So you have to check and confirm the data.
Yes.
Interesting. So is there any like in terms of like security and compliance? I take it there's a lot of like best practice that you need to do or stuff for ERP system, whether it's like keeping up to date with the new updates or new versions and stuff, right?
Yes, absolutely. You got to keep up to date. There are so many patches, so many updates, so many upgrades that you need to be able to have. And you got to stay up on that, because once you fall behind, it becomes a massive problem for everybody in those activities. So I tell people all the time, I don't care what tool you're using. I'm an Azure fan. I'm the I'm the fan between the Google AI and the Azure, and keep your systems up to date. That's massive.
Okay. So is there any specific best practice you recommend for people when trying to like learn ERP in Azure, whether it's AI or so?
So my best practices is learn early, and keep your education up to speed. Continuously take Microsoft is continuously putting out new educational programs. Keep up to date on that. Now, if you want to stay in the ERP space, instead of, hey, I just want to work on Azure, I don't care what the tools are, whatever applications they put on there, that's on them. Doesn't matter. Make sure you keep up on your education. That's why they've got it. There's an incredible academy. The Microsoft Training Academy is wonderful. I use it all the time. I'm continuously getting new and new certifications and updates to my education. What I tell younger people, especially, and I don't know if this is ageism or whatever the case may be, don't start thinking that just because you've learned one thing, you know everything. Keep learning. If you see you've learned one component of it, move over to the next column and the next column, and keep moving yourself through the educational process. Take an hour every day and learn something new. There's so much you can learn. It's going to be a benefit. And then you got to go back. You got to keep seeing everything, all the new classes that are being added on a continuous basis.
Okay. Yes, it's constantly. It's the same with AI or anything in Azure. You have to keep up to date with it.
Yes.
So I'm not sure, but is it this? It does the ERP system in Azure. Can you still connect it with like Visual Studio, VS Code, or you just have to do it in a portal with ClickHops approach?
There's still activities that you can connect those pieces of the puzzle with, but you got to be
Yeah, like
really
extension.
careful around that with the extensions. Yes.
Okay, so you will recommend people just do the portal first before trying out any like
Yes.
extension wise. Okay. Chris, is any final word or anything you would like to say about people that want to get started to ERP?
You know, ERP is not a scary word. Um, I I really want individuals to think about ERP as, when you look at the world, 93.7% of all financial transactions run through an SAP ERP solution. So think about that all across the globe. ERP is not a bad word. It's difficult to learn, yes, and you need to take some time, especially if you're putting it on Azure. But focus on the Azure side first and understand what you're going to do, how you're going to build, how you're going to utilize, what the resource capabilities are, what the end result is going to be. And really understand you're a very strong human. Start learning it, learn it, live it, know it.
Yeah. It's the I think it's the same like every technology. You still have to learn it, to get good at it. As
Yes.
ERP. So, Chris, do you have any hobbies that you like to do?
Oh, hobbies. Um, it's interesting. I like to try to play guitar. I write books. I'm now up to
Yeah.
20 different books on Amazon. And
What books have you written
yes,
so far?
so I've got 20 different books on Amazon by myself. I've got the Mastering SAP series, and I've got the
Nice.
Mastering AI series on Amazon. And they're literally 100 pages or less. And I'm trying to give a baseline for individuals to be able to understand and to be able to have a baseline of understanding in each of the subjects. I talk about Azure, I talk about the cloud, I talk about security, AI, LLMs, what they are, basics, the beginner's guide to AI. And then I've got another AI book that is on my websites that talk about what business leaders need to know about AI. So I love to do those kind of things.
Okay, so you love writing and
I do.
educating with the writing.
Yes.
That's brilliant. That's cool. I see a lot of like conference badges, so you've probably spoken to a lot of
Oh,
conferences
yes.
over there.
Oh, I do
So,
so many conferences. It's funny. Um, Last year I did 107 different podcasts, and along with those I did 50 speaking engagements at universities, and then I did another 47 different speaking engagements at trade shows throughout the year. So I love traveling, so we'll see how long that takes. A
yeah,
lot of
but
Microsoft community days.
yeah, but then you love it, so that's all good thing
Yeah,
of it. You probably have
I do.
your own time, and you have the flexibility of just traveling with it.
I do. It's
Have
kind of
you?
funny because I haven't been to a trade show in 2 weeks, and I've let my beard grow out. And now I'm going to have to shave it because I've got to go and I've got to be at an event in New Jersey next week.
Nice. So when's your next event? You said? Oh,
Next
next
week in New
Tuesday.
Jersey. And then the end of the month is the Microsoft Community Days in New York.
Oh yeah, that's one. Oh, well, are you talking about ERP or are you talking about AI?
I
Yeah.
believe it's AI this time.
Okay. What about? What's
Uh,
the title?
that's a great question because I don't know off the top of my head.
It's okay. No worries. If everyone want to follow Chris, he will be in New York next Tuesday. Yeah, you said.
Yep, I'll be in New York next week and the following week.
Yeah, so check him out. So and just speak to him about it. So he can tell you a bit about his journey, how he gets started to ERP, and also for, just to let you know, the ERP is important system as well because, as what Chris said, it's like all the transaction from bank could be anyone that you're aware of. So it's very crucial. It could be like a trader. So as it's a lot more crucial where people want uptime of stuff ERP when Azure is having issues as well. So so many
Yes. Oh, yes.
important. The it's so many like that's why security has to be baked in the underground for that those things.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for coming on this episode, Chris. So I hope
Thanks, Nicholas.
everyone know about ERP and why is it important and getting an understanding of it and how you can get started with your journey on ERP. So check him out. Otherwise, follow him to Dick Studio in his talk at New York. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Uh,